Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. I'm so frustrated. 315 live impressions. It's like being a kid in the candy store, but all the candy tastes like crap or something. Um, it is so close to being like an enjoyable experience. So I've been doing this hardcore challenge. So I've been making the game more punishing than it should be. This is what I've done because I really, really enjoy the looting aspects of the game. So I said, all right, I'm going to ignore stores and shops altogether, and I'm only going to loot stuff off of players and NPCs and the loot containers. And that's how I'm going to go through my game experience. Yeah, like, you know, the worst candy that you can think of that you got at Halloween? Like some old lady gave you an apple or something like that? Like, that is the candy shop that this is in. And the level of frustration that I have is with just a couple things. And it tends to be with, you're not often getting downed, you're dying more than you should. Second, when you do die or you revive your friends, they seem to just fall through the world. My last death, my whole body just disappeared, was gone completely, and it was left with a T-posed, naked, no-head version of me. So there's like this incredibly broken experience weaved into something that is really pretty decent. So the fact that, like, you can't find everything that you need every time you just go to the store and buy everything. And it's so cheap to buy things from the store. So the experience that I've been doing, like doing the bunker missions and gaining rep and killing NPCs, the experience with the NPCs, for me, very active. Very, I don't want to say very scary or very dangerous, but way more dangerous than any other patch I've played them in, including the PTU of 3.15. Bunkers, turrets, way more dangerous than in the past. So there's like this feeling of excitement and gain and loss. And if I sound frustrated, one of the rules that I have in my little hardcore playthrough is you can buy a multi-tool because you can't find them in loot containers right now or off of NPCs until 3.15.1. They'll be in the caves then, but you have to loot the attachments for it. And I found the most important attachment, the tractor beam attachment. And the player I was playing with accidentally blew me up. And I lost it. And I am like, that is like the god tier item out of everything. Because guns, they're all the same. It doesn't take that many rounds to kill any of the NPCs. So all the guns are the same, basically. Armor, all the same. The tractor beam attachment is like the most important thing. Because you can pull bodies and bring them to your ships. You can pull boxes and move them. It is like the most important thing, and I've lost it now, and it's very, very frustrating, and I've had a hard time finding them. So that's my first impressions for that. Server meshing, just the server meshing Q&A is another thing that happened this week, and that's kind of one of the topics that are here as well. And I didn't think it shared too much information. They talked about dates. I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. But it is quite interesting to see the first steps of persistence being a possibility by the end of this year. But I've heard by the beginning of next year, sorry. We've heard that a lot of times before. Then the first implementations of server meshing by the end of next year. We've heard that at CitizenCon for 3 years in a row. So guess what? I am not putting any ounce of confidence or believability in any of those statements that I read there. It was more just mostly technical bullshit that I don't care or need to hear, with, on top of it, what their plans are for when they want to try to achieve it. Now, cool. I'm glad they're trying to achieve it now. I'm glad it's in Turbulence hands more than it is anyone else's. But in general, I've heard it 3 years in a row now, so it's hard for me to believe it. As much as I'd like to believe it this time, I really would. But I'm just, you can call it jaded, but I think I'm a little of the wiser now than in the past, unfortunately. So, without further ado, let's bring in our callers, because you guys don't care what I have to say. You're here to hear what everyone else has to say. So our first caller was our first caller last week, Vincent Van Vega. Vincent, what's up, dude?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hello. Are you excited for the Brazilian Grand Prix today?
No, because I don't watch Formula 1 anymore, but, it's like, I'm...
All right, we're going to have to ask you to leave then, okay? All right, sorry. We had to let Vincent... No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back, Vincent. I'm sorry. I just had to play a little joke on you there.
Oh, I didn't understand. Sorry.
It's okay. I was like, we're going to have to ask you to leave. If you're not a Formula 1 fan, you have to go. No, just kidding.
No, I'm not as much into, but I still like the sport. It's not just,
How much are the tickets to go to the Brazilian Grand Prix today? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. But like 1 decade ago, it was like 150, I guess.
Do you know how much
Brazilian
it is?
reais.
Okay. Do you know how much it is to go to the Miami Grand Prix for next year already? $1,600. A 3090 MSRP. It's crazy.
I
it's
think
in a
that's
parking
too
lot.
much.
No, it's way too much. It's they're building it in a parking lot. It's crazy.
Like literally in a parking lot?
Yeah,
Or
literally in a
What?
parking lot of the Dolphin where the Miami Dolphins play.
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, Star Citizen. Sorry, guys. Sorry. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about 3.15 live impressions? You want to talk... I would imagine you want to talk about server meshing. That would be my guess.
We can start with 3.15 because actually, remember last week that I was on here
Uh-huh.
and we talked about me being a medic?
Yes.
And that I didn't play 3.15, and now I played 3.15 because you bullied me last week because like you gave like a disapproval face because I didn't play it yet, so I had to play.
Well, if you wanted to be a medic, it seemed like this was the patch to give it a try, you know?
Yeah, and it's like I tried. I stayed in a server for like 3 hours, and nobody called the medical beacon, even though I was like in the chat say, "Hey, look, if you are down right now, call Vincent, your best medic from the UE." And people are like, "Nah, dude, I'm just gonna backspace."
Yeah.
And the one dude that called me, I got bugged because like I left the ship, and we know that gravity bug that happens sometimes, that you cannot control yourself when you go into zero gravity.
Yeah.
That happened to me, so I had to log off the game. So anyway, I didn't had the experience, unfortunately.
Yep. Neither have I. I don't like. There's just so many bugs around the death and life in the game right now, and they're to be expected, right? But they're bugs like that become more increasingly frustrating when the game and things matter more in the game, and death matters more in the game. And I expected to be frustrated, but I didn't expect to deal with consistent issues of like when you get up, it I don't know, through the entire length of the PTU cycle, like it's been so long, and the fact that like every time you revive somebody, they fall through the floor and the planet, and like sometimes they're invisible, and these bugs, like I just don't feel they should be as prevalent as they are, and There was a lot of bugs in 3.15, but this is the core gameplay of it. And if it's completely game-breakingly broken, that's not good. Now, I have not played 3.15.1. I didn't mention that in the monologue thing at the beginning. I hear there's a lot of fixes in 3.15.1. So, cross our fingers when that goes live, it'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, I felt really bad for you because you're having such a great time stacking the boxes. And I find it so, like, the chat wasn't getting it at all, but I find it so oddly satisfying moving the boxes and stacking the boxes and creating explosions. And people are like in the chat, why are you doing this boring stuff?
Why not?
SaltEMike?
So
why not? It's like...
just to give like a reference to what he's talking about, is there's a bunker mission where you're like a cop and you have to go down to destroy all the drugs in this drug lab. So you kill the people who make the drugs, but then you also have to destroy the drugs. But a little known fact that at least I didn't know and was told today, that you can take the drugs out and sell them as well. You don't have to. But there's all these explosive containers in the area, so you stack up all the drugs in one place and then blow up the explosive containers, and then the drugs blow up. So it's kind of fun. And if you have that tractor beam attachment, which like having the tractor beam, like I said in the beginning, is such a big deal to the little hardcore playthrough that I'm doing, it was a lot of fun. You know?
Oh my god, when you found the tractor being hidden in like this loot box, hidden like
I was
from
so
view.
excited.
Yeah, it was so awesome. It was like, oh my god, I want to play the game he's playing right now. It gave me like hopium. It gave me hopium that this game is gonna be fun. And it's like, and then you go play the game and people are like abusing the body, the loot body, and like logging off so you cannot loot the body. And it's like, oh my god, there's so much potential.
And it's just completely wasted. That's what it feels like. It's like the medical gameplay, wasted potential. You almost never see another player. If you kill that other player, the joy of looting them gets taken away from you. There's just so much disappointment and so much wasted potential. I've never been so enjoying a patch, and I've never been so frustrated with a patch because I can't enjoy it as much as I should.
Yeah, and I feel you because, like, as a viewer and as a player as well, when you're looting stuff and you're doing all of these crazy things in the bunker and you're moving, stacking boxes, doing puzzles and actually playing the game, the game is fun. But then the game throws at you curveballs, and it's like, and the bugs, it's like something you were laughing at the other day, that you're watching the old Citizen Cons, and Chris Roberts said in 2018 or 2019 that in one of the Citizen Cons that the next year the player experience was gonna be so much better, but has it? That's my question.
I think it is. It's just I think the experience is much better. I don't think the experience with these new systems in game are as good as they should be. Like, I just don't think the whole falling through the planet invisible thing should be a thing. I don't think players should be able to just backspace. Like, these are all issues that should have been not only found in Evocati, but resolved before they ever got to the PTU. And if they did get to the PTU, they should have been things that were resolved before it ever got to live. And this, like, when you heal somebody, maybe that's a really difficult bug to resolve or whatever. It's just game breaking. So I I'm not going to just sit here and complain about it because it's just going to sound like I'm whining and crying. It's so game breaking that it just ruins the player's experience for me. And I think it's I've never had a patch I enjoyed more than this one, and it just makes it that much more frustrating, I think.
I was enjoying it as well when I played the 3 hours. Like, I was doing some bunker and some box missions while I was waiting someone to call the medical thing, and I was like having really fun because, you know, like, the game can be really satisfying.
Yeah.
Doing these missions that the designers put in the game. It's like they're really fun, but, you know, these bugs are detecting, like, they take from the experience
Yeah.
sometimes, and it's like, whatever. And there was the Q&A as well this week that I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
in the chat. Like, I feel like it's been what you said in the beginning of the show, that it's been 3 years that server meshing is just next year, guys. Next year.
Yeah.
It's like they're teasing us, like, with this candy, with this bait in a stick or whatever, like a fishing hook, and they're tasing us with a bait in a fishing hook, and we are fish, and they're just always pushing the bait away from us. It's like, please don't give dates to CIG if you are not like 100%
They had
confident.
to. They had to for this. They have to. That's like the problem
I
here.
disagree.
Is we can't say don't give dates and then be like, and then have the most upvoted question be when. And that's probably the most upvoted question of oh, I spelled impressions wrong apparently. Let me fix this.
It's fine.
The most upvoted question being when, because that honestly is the most important question when it comes to meshing.
I rather they don't give dates, Mike, because, you know, I rather they say, "Hey, look, it's the next patch." Then it's okay to say remesh is coming. But, like, it's 1 year away. So much can change in 1 year. It has been true in the past 2 years. So, you know what I'm saying is right. So it's like, what's the point? They say, "Oh, we think it's gonna be ready next year," and then we arrive at the next year. They say, "Oh, this happened," and then now it's the next year. And it's like this game of always always being 1 year away. I rather they give us one patch before, because it's much more reliable that they will arrive with server meshing, and it's not just gonna piss off everyone when they don't meet their internal date.
Yeah, it just comes
And
down to the game doesn't move forward until this comes in, and everybody knows how much of a blocker it is from any experience that they want to have, whether it's the type of experience I want to have or whatever. With this, they have to just be like, yeah, these are our target goals for these things, and it's, you know, I know, everybody knows that the static server meshing thing by the end of the year is probably going to get delayed. But them saying, hey, we're planning on in the next 6 months, like actively working on trying to get the persistence part of the game in the game, and that's like a big part of server meshing. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
So there's a positive and there's a negative
that's
there.
a good thing.
But yeah, but that's not the next patch, right? So the whole thing is that they cannot win. There's no winning because they backed themselves into this corner with this and made the game the way they did. And I don't feel bad for them. And this is literally their problem, and there's no way to resolve it other than to get the damn work done. And that's it. And hopefully they do. And if they don't, we all just play another game. And whoops, oh well. This'll fall into like being the biggest disaster in the history of fucking gaming, probably. But I don't think that that's going to necessarily be the case.
Look, at the end of the day, we are not in the 9th year of the development that's supposed to took place in like 2 or 4 years. Like, remember as the call 2016 or like the delivery date on the Kickstarter? At the end of the day, they're such in a position right now that the game is so like what the initial backer thought the game was gonna be delivered and what actually happened is so different that it's like, does it matter if they say, oh, we think it's gonna be out December next year? Does it matter? That's my opinion. I don't think they should have said. I don't think, and it's like my personal opinion, it's like the most upvoted question is when on a spectrum, but I don't think it matters right now. It matters just when it goes online. It doesn't matter what they think, when they think it's gonna be online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It matters the reality, not the estimation, basically, for me.
Okay. Well, and I guess the reality is something good might come in Q1 2022 or Q2 2022, so we'll see.
Let's hope, because, Quanta is coming online in December, according to CitizenCon, so it's like, it's gonna be in a sweet spot in 3.17.
Yeah.
Like, with the Quanta and with selling, it's gonna be such a nice experience that I wonder.
As long as it's not like this one.
Yeah, as long as if like that bug where you sell stuff on the comms and then you can duplicate what you're selling in the screen doesn't happen again. It's gonna be, I guess, a better experience. But I hope, I just hope that this is actually the time they're like, we can actually do this in 1 year, and they meet their expectations and deliver this between Q3 and Q4. It's gonna be so good for them if they manage to deliver this.
Yeah, I agree. Well, all right, Vincent. I think we've talked for a little while now. We have a few more callers, so I'll probably let you go here. But any very quick final thoughts before we let you go?
Soros is back this week. Yeah. The king is back.
Soros is streaming, I've heard. Yeah, that's cool. Have you checked it out at all? I didn't get a chance to watch because I was working.
I watched a couple of VODs because I work as well. And he was having somewhat fun.
Okay.
It seems like he liked some of the stuff that was in. There was like enough content to hook him into the game, but enough bugs to be of a more or less experience than a really good or really bad experience.
Yeah, just like the rest of us. So cool.
So have a nice day, Mike. Say hi to Michael for me.
I will.
I see you in the next Answer the Call, I hope. Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, our next caller is Michael Krokenoff. This is the guy who blew me up, and I lost my body, and it's why I'm so frustrated. What's up, Mike?
It's not my fault.
It literally was your fault.
It's not my fault.
It's your fault. Here's what I'll tell you. It's his fault. Guys, I'll tell you why it's his fault, okay? We're playing as a team, but every time we play as a team, he plays as a solo player, and he doesn't really pay any regard to the fact that there's another player there, right? So he doesn't look around before he shoots. He jumps right in front of you when you're shooting, and when we blew up the boxes at the bunker mission, he still shot a gun after they were done.
I feel like this is a false representation of what has happened. You've walked in front of me many times
Yeah.
as well. So it's just that, unfortunately, one of the big things about Star Citizen is there is no audio cues, so I can't hear where you are. So unless we're communicating,
Which
the
the game
entire
won't let us
time.
communicate.
Because the push to VoIP doesn't work at the moment.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some way that I can hear where you are to, because even if we have party markers and stuff, if you're behind me, I can't tell where you are. So you can see me, but I can't see you. So it's just frustrating that the multiplayer experience is still the way it is. Unfortunately, so I guess moving into 3.15, I haven't read the server mesh and Q&A because at this point in time I don't really care anymore. I'll see it when I believe it is sort of where I'm at with that. So we'll just have to sort of wait and see.
Yep.
So 3.15, I think if I wasn't playing the way that we were playing, doing the hardcore route, I think I would already have put 3.15 down. I wouldn't be playing Star Citizen anymore.
100% the same. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just too easy, the game. And going down, like, we've only been doing bunker missions so far because we don't have good enough ships to go do like high level bounty missions, and we don't have big enough ships to do cargo. So we need to do something consistent that earns a decent amount of money that we can get decent rewards out of to level up to go do the other stuff.
Yeah.
My kind of gripe with the new bunker missions, while yes, they are good, that we are getting some air quotes new content, is that they are just existing bunker missions that have just been put behind a different rep mission. So there's nothing really new about them, because there already was the drug clear the drug den and evict illegal occupants was there as well.
Yeah, but the first one wasn't, with the help of security, and you got to make sure you don't kill or shoot any security guards. That's a new one. And I think the ones later on in the reputation train are newer ones. Like, there's a big boss mission, there's waves of enemies. So those later on are the ones that we're trying to get to, which is new content, but at the same time does kind of fall in line with the statement that you make, where it's like, it's new, but it's kind of a lot of the same. So I don't know. My experience with New World is, so long as you're progressing towards something tangible, so like new gear, a higher level, something like that, the repetition of missions mattered a whole lot less than they do in Star Citizen, because you're really not progressing towards anything when doing these missions. You're progressing towards the next mission type, I guess, which is why the bunkers are kind of cool, but you're not progressing. There's no real reward or gain for that reputation gain, and I'm sure there will be one day, but right now, that's why 3.15 kind of feels too easy or stale or whatever, unless you make it a little harder for yourself like we have.
Yeah, and there's no, like, the gear itself doesn't really matter. Like, because we're doing it the route we're doing it, after you had your crash, the inventory crash, I had the exact same crash about 3 minutes later, and then I lost everything I had in my ship, in my personal inventory, all the gear I was wearing. That's all gone again. So for me, that was really frustrating, because I finally found all the attachments I specifically wanted for my guns. And I had a decent amount of ammo that I can go down and do stuff solo now. So now I've got to go. Now I've just been put back a heap of steps, so I have to redo all that. But that's sort of part and parcel of sort of the Star Citizen experience, I guess. So I'm looking forward to doing bunkers, and I do want to do, like, play with you and do multiplayer and play with friends. But the big thing that's hurting our experience is the fact that when we do these missions, rep isn't getting rewarded properly, and I feel like that's the fact that wasn't picked up in testing really shows how they're not really developing this game as a multiplayer experience. It seems very solo focused, and then these multiplayer bugs are sort of found out once it goes to live.
I don't think that that's the problem. Like, you almost put that on the devs. I don't think that's necessarily on the devs. So let's break that down a little bit. That starts with the reporting.
Yep.
And then there's a middle ground. It's you report the bugs and people attempt to, like, the whole thing is the problem with Star Citizen is it is literally, like, I'm sorry, I understand it's an alpha, but my job is not to, you know, go through this game and look through the issue council and try to repeat all the bugs that other people have, okay? I'm sorry. The people that want to do that, God fucking bless you. But I have no desire to do that shit. I have every desire to enjoy the game and try to enjoy the game to the best of my ability. When I don't, it sucks. I make an issue council report, nobody upvotes it, and it just sits there and dies. The only time I've ever made any progress is because I have a decent amount of viewers while streaming, and some of the developers will stop by and go through all the Star Citizen streams and see people's experiences. And I've had the luck of having a few developers here see issues happen and go, oh, I know what that is, or oh, I know what that could be. And specifically with the rep, we noticed that while multiple developers from the mission team were watching that day. And they went, yeah, that's not right. Let me go look at that. Oh yeah, we found a bug with that. Should be fixed in 3.15. Well, 3.15.1, hopefully, you know? And it was like, oh, cool, you know? Like, one of those devs are here right now. So, you know, the one who made all the new missions that we've been playing. And it's a lot easier to be like, see, look at what happened, and then them go, oh, I think I know what the issue is, than having to sift through the issue council and have it all, like, I'm sorry, but the system is not effective, is essentially what I'm trying to get at. That was a really long-winded way of saying this whole system is not as effective as it could be, should be. I don't know what the solution is, but it certainly, there is a break in the chain somewhere to get from player having a bug to developer figuring out how to fix that bug.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that, because most of the time I just want to be playing the game. If I'm experiencing bugs, I don't want to take 10 to 15 minutes out of my playtime to go onto Spectrum, make the post, upload the video or pictures, and muck around doing all of that. Yeah. There needs to be some kind of way in game to do it. But going back to sort of
commenters are going to say, Mike, that like that's like an entitled take, and you this is an alpha, that's what you should be doing. And it's like, no, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And if I want to play the game, that's what I'm going to do. But then we're going to be called part of the problem, because that's how they'll take that. And to some extent, they're right. Right?
Yeah. And if I've got time, then yeah, I'll put up a Spectrum post and that kind of stuff. But majority of the time, I just want to get in the game and play the game. And I think what Star Citizen does really well is that it's a game that's really good at wasting your time. It's not a game that is good at making you want to waste your time, is sort of the way I feel about it. Yeah. So there are definitely some needs to be improvements. As far as like what you said earlier about the testing and that, there are internal testers at CIG. So to sort of pass the buck onto the player base to do all the bug testing, I think is a bit much.
I also think now you're passing the buck onto them to think that they don't do the bug testing, and I'm not going to stand for something like that. I think
but it just seems like something that
it feels that way. It does. Like coming from a player, it just
feels like something really big that shouldn't have been missed.
Yeah, like how the fuck when you heal somebody from a downstate, are they still falling through the planet? Why is that a thing? Why haven't we figured that out yet? That's the one where I feel like you look at QA and you're like, you're the ones, guys, you're the ones who are supposed to do this, but we don't know exactly what the issue is and why, and I just don't want to, I don't think you can ever point or confidently in any one place is kind of the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, I know. And the issue where I killed you and I was looking at your body
admitted.
and then your body just disappears.
Yep.
And then you're replaced by a T-posing naked guy without a head and arms and like missing stuff. Like
I didn't log out.
if
I didn't Alt F4.
if I yeah, and if I'm there, your body shouldn't just disappear because you've respawned because you're in my mesh area, whatever it is. So you're in my area. Your body shouldn't have despawned. But I don't know. I'm just sort of at the point with Star Citizen that I really want to play this game and enjoy it. And I still get excited about the IE and the new ships and everything like that. And I've been having a lot of fun doing the hardcore route, playing with you and all the rest of it. But I just think there's just always, what you say all the time, it's just always like we're almost there, and it's just they never seem to get that final step where it feels like a good experience. It always seems to be something that ruins the experience that you're having. So, as someone who's been around for heaps of quite a few years now, on my original count back in 2015, which I lost the email to, and this one, it's people who've been around for a long time. We're getting exhausted of this. So as a new player, I really hope that they can get the new player experience really good for the new player base, because at the moment it is still really bad. And for the us grizzled veterans of bug fixing and developing and all the rest of it, we're sort of just going to have to keep on slugging through, I guess.
Yep. And the whole thing is like bugs can be annoying. What we're experiencing is, yes, it would be categorized as a bug, but it is completely experience and game breaking. And it undermines the features that have been added to the game completely to make them useless.
Yeah.
And that's obviously problematic. Again, I don't know if these issues have been resolved on 3.15.1 or not. So I'd be interested.
We'll just have to
hear, and we'll have to
wait and see.
But,
and I think that's the big issue with 3.15.1 as well, is that because 3.15 took so long in PTU, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to give them a lot of leeway as far as these bugs, because it was in PTU for so long, PTU for so long.
Yep.
That 3.15.1, they're going, oh yeah, we'll fix it in 3.15.1, but 3.15.1 is coming out Friday this week, coming up on the 19th? It has to be out on the 18th or the 19th. So they're saying we're going to fix this and it's all going to be done and it'll be ready to go, but that's a week's worth of time. They've given themselves a week, not even a week, to get from 3.15 to 3.15.1, and I just can't take them at their word that they're going to have this stuff fixed.
I think a lot of the stuff already is fixed in those builds.
Yeah.
Which is even the weirder thing, because it was in the PTU like the day that it went live, and it was like, what? Why don't we just have these fixes in live? Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works necessarily, but that was like kind of frustrating.
I just want Star Citizen to be good, and I know we're getting there slowly but surely, but I just want the game to be good. I want to be able to jump on this game and play it. Like I was playing, it's really dumb, but I was playing like Jurassic World Evolution 2, the new one that came out, and I was playing that till 7 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't realize until the sun was coming up. That's the kind of experience I want to have with Star Citizen, where I just get completely lost in the game, that I can play all night until the sun comes up. So, I've spent 8 to 10 grand on this game over the years. So, I've definitely invested the money, I've invested the time, but I just don't feel like so far I've gotten much back from Star Citizen over that period of time.
Yeah. I can't ignore this chat. So somebody said backer support is higher than ever, so you're either selling negativity or all of the new backers are just dumb. I've got my money on the first one. Okay. So neither of us are selling negativity. We actually play the game, and we're not watching commercials and then buying the game, or looking at screenshots and then buying the game. We're talking about our actual gameplay experiences. and it's not negativity at all. It's literally the gameplay experience. And the thing about Star Citizen is it has never been sold on the gameplay experience because the gameplay experience has never been good. Their advertising and their YouTube videos and all those things are fantastic, and they're great marketers. And they've sold a dream. They have not sold the gameplay experience yet. And me and Michael are trying to experience the game because we really feel that the game can be that good to where the game can sell itself if just a couple of these extraordinarily experience-breaking bugs weren't there anymore. Okay? And that's what I mean. 3.15 is by far the best patch I've ever played, and it's just these 2 or 3 issues that if you didn't fall through a planet when you healed your friend, if your body didn't disappear when you died, and if you killed another player and their body didn't disappear, and you got the joy of looting them, I think I would have a really good time. Like, there are tons of bugs. Like, listen, man, if you put something on your left leg, it disappears every time, right? Like, things like that. You just learn your lesson and you don't do it anymore. There's no workarounds to these bugs, and that's sort of the problem, right? That's what we're talking about here. So it's not negativity. It's fucking honesty, and I'm tired of that bullshit from a lot of people in this community. Okay?
And I definitely agree with you, and I don't want people to seem like I'm coming across that I'm not enjoying it. Like I did say at the start, playing this in the hardcore way that we're playing it has been extremely fun. And we had a situation where we did go down to a bunker, and Mike got knocked out by someone, and I killed the enemy AI, and revived him immediately
right away.
And that's a really cool experience that we had.
Perfect.
So yeah,
it was literally perfect. It felt so. It felt so right. It was like, wow, that's what this could be. And then when it never happened again, that makes it that much more frustrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And like 3.15, as you said, it's like the biggest step forward we've had in sort of the gameplay side of things for like stuff for us to do. And a lot of the stuff that we're complaining about is sort of our own fault in a sense, because we're making it harder on ourselves by doing this hardcore mode. But I think in the case of what we're trying to say is that because the game, everything you can just buy it from the shops, there's no value in the game. So if they had done what we'd been saying when they brought in loot, when they discussed loot in the first place, was remove everything from the shops except for, say, light undersuits, helmets, and pistols.
Yep.
And then you have to go out there and find everything yourself, except for maybe like multi-tool items and that kind of stuff, because people need that for professions. So what we're doing, the way we're playing, is sort of the way that we wanted it to be experienced.
Exactly, and the way that we expect it to be experienced in the future. I'm kind of, I can kind of understand why we don't have the shop removal stuff yet, because what if looting really didn't work that well, right? There has to be this this in-between period when, all right, we're bringing in looting, everything's still going to be in the shops, nothing's going to be behind reputation, and we'll slowly work that stuff in. I'm okay with that. But I do think eventually I'd like to get to that place where the best gear or the rarest stuff or the whatever is tied behind making a little effort in the game. Most of the stuff that we earn, most of the stuff that you could buy in the shops can be earned by completing one mission in the game.
Yeah.
5-minute commitment, and you got everything you need, aside from the time commitment it takes to fly to the places to buy the stuff. You pretty much got everything you need. Especially with people starting money, they're fully set. So I find it
unless you want to sabotage yourself like us, then and I would recommend people to do it. Try out the hardcore route. So I'll let Mike explain it if he wants to. But I think if you definitely want to make 3.15 and 3.15 a really good experience for you and your mates, I definitely think the hardcore route definitely would be the way to go, because it's going to give you a lot more meaning, and it will frustrate you when you die and you lose everything, but it makes it really rewarding when you do get that really good experiences like we have had. So there are some upsides, there are some downsides, but I think overall 3.15 is a good step forward for this game.
Yeah. And I agree. So just real quick, if you guys are watching Twitch, you could type !hardcore in chat, and I'll leave a link for the rules. Those rules will change in 3.15.1, but for 3.15, that's the rules that we'll have. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just post a link below. But essentially, you just ignore the fact that the stores exist, so you don't buy armor, weapons, ammo, attachments, anything like that. It's all done through looting either players or boxes or NPCs. So it's pretty fun. But Mike, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add, or should we go to the next caller?
No, I think that's pretty much everything. I sort of forgot what I wanted to say as usual, but it's just I really hope this game can keep going and it can be good. Like I'm just really hopeful still of this game, so I don't want people to think that I'm really negative all the time about it. So, it's been so fun.
Like, this is the opposite of any other talk I've ever had about the game, and I think you're in the same boat. It's been so enjoyable that the game-breaking bugs that we've come across have taken that enjoyment away, and it's like, it's just totally different. This experience has been totally different for me. My frustration comes from a totally different avenue. It used to be they're not putting anything fun in the game, and it's all about visuals only, to holy crap, they put fun in the game, but I'm being gated from being able to experience it. And yeah. So it's totally different, but yeah, and I think you're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, and this is I can probably say this is probably, except for the dynamic missions, so Ninetales I won't really say much about, but the what's the other one? I can't remember the name of right now. It's Xenothreat.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the most fun I've had since Xenothreat. I'm kind of disappointed that we don't have a dynamic mission for 3.15 either. No, I don't really count IE as an air quotes dynamic mission because it's just a chip show.
I think we're supposed to. I think Jumptown 2 is 3.15, or is that 3.16?
I think that's 3.16. So I kind of do want to... I want there to be at least some kind of dynamic mission every quarter, like with every major patch, so that there is alternative content to the standard, content, because at the moment there's just not enough normal content in the game. And the way they did it, where it's only 1 week that content is live over a 3-month period, just isn't good enough. They need to do it at least once a month of that 3-month quarter. But I guess I'll just leave it there as far as everything. I don't want to take up too much time with the next caller.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Mike, be good. Thank you so much, as always, and we'll play again, and I'll get frustrated again.
And I'll try not to kill you next time.
Thanks. I just want to point out, I haven't killed you yet. So
that can change. So we'll see how we go.
It may change the next time we play, and it may be on purpose. All right, talk to you later, Mike. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, our next caller is Elf Wizard. Oops. I moved the whole channel instead of you. There we go. Elf Wizard, what's up, man? Elf, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
I hear you too. So what's up, my man?
Oh, just another week of answer the call, right?
True. So what do you want to talk about as far as 3.15 impressions, server meshing?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of impressions on 3.15. I spent the last 2 days downloading it and finished it late last night. Got on and ran into a couple issues and just went, I'm tired, I'm going to call it a night.
What'd you try to do?
Which is, pretty common with Star System. I tried to check out the new looting system. I got to load in and check out what I had in my personal storage and what was on the station, but I got a 3001 error, so that was my end. My internet is not the greatest.
We could tell.
But yeah, I was.
You're very robotic right now.
So. Oh.
If you have any other apps open, maybe try closing them.
So.
So never mind.
Okay. Is that better?
Maybe. It's all right. If it gets too bad, I'll let you know, and then maybe we just have to end the call a little bit early this week, and hopefully we'll have a better connection next time.
Too bad, just if it gets too bad, just boot me like I'm a bad habit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I closed down the stream because I was trying to watch the chat and talk with you, so that was probably my fault.
Yeah, you sound perfect now. So yeah, that was the difference.
Yeah. Oh well, you'll have to tell me if anyone says anything, but
don't read the chat, okay? Because they're always gonna say rude shit no matter what. All right, that's what they do, and that's why I don't tend to look at them.
I let you read the chat.
Yeah, that's my job. Your job is to just tell me what you feel about 3.15 and whatever you want to talk about right now.
So my perspective, and this is just how I feel, is 3.15 is really a case of, I see a lot with Star Citizen. In the army, we have crawl, walk, run. So you start with crawling with something you're learning, then you move up to walk, so you get a little bit more proficient, you start moving a little bit faster, and then run. You're full on running, you're good to go. And I feel like Star Citizen oftentimes goes from crawl to run, which causes them to stumble and fall back to crawl, which I don't think is the dev's fault at all. I mean, well, maybe a little bit, but a lot of it's the community, because we want this game up and running, so we want them to go pretty much straight to running, so we have something to do, we have a game to play. But it feels like that every time they go from crawl to run, they just stumble, and we hit some massive bugs that they didn't foresee, and we get back to crawl and
All right, your connection's getting pretty bad again. I'm going to jump in real quick and say I can kind of agree, but also disagree. Like, the things that we're talking about, they were a bug from... I don't know if I played Evo or not. I can't remember. I don't think I did play Evo this time. And
I don't remember you doing that.
Yeah, and when 3.15 came out into the PTU, these bugs existed the entire time. It was in the PTU for a month, right? So I don't think that they came across unforeseen issues. I really feel like the issue is it's not easy for the backer to communicate the issue to the people who need to resolve it. It's and I don't think it's a thing that can be resolved or fixed that easily. It's just the nature of what it is, and I think when you bring in as many features changes as this one, there were gonna be some bugs. It's just inevitable. So it's not a situation where, like, I feel like they fell down. I feel like this is what was supposed to happen. But given the nature of the fact that 3.15 was so late and they had so much time to work on it, and completely game-breaking bugs still existed to force you back to that crawl state that you said, it can be quite frustrating to deal with. But for me, this is the first patch that they actually attempted to do something different and provide gameplay to players aside from emergent gameplay, and I think it's good. So overall, I think it's fantastic. It's just,
I agree.
I hope 3.15.1 resolves a lot of the problems that we had in 3.15.
No, I agree with that completely. My only other issue is that a lot of times, the more complicated system you're working on, the more likely you are to have faults. And it feels like a lot of times they throw in more than they perhaps should. And some of it has absolutely nothing to do with what's currently functioning, aka bartenders. So, if I had a choice, I kind of wish that when they went with this patch that they went with just the inventory and the looting, or just the medical, and then maybe have a sub patch for the next one once they figure out the issues, because I see a lot of issues with the inventory and the medical meshing together and not working, like say healing a body and having everything disappear.
Yeah, sure, but the thing is if they don't throw all these things in and see what happens, we're never going to finish the game. So at times we're going to have these patches that are like, wow, this is so exciting, but wow, this is so broken, and it's just going to be part of what it is. I don't think that there's a way to get around this if we want the game to finish in the next decade.
True. Yeah. I mean, it is definitely not a quick process.
Yeah. So we're going to have to suffer. It's just not fun while you're suffering. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is.
No,
is how
yeah,
I look at
completely agree.
But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? What'd you think about
No,
server meshing?
The server meshing. I browsed over it, but
Yeah.
every time I see them with the server meshing, it's like more of a wish list than anything concrete. Like, this is what we would like, this is what's possible,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this could happen, but it's definitely one of those, we'll see what we get when we get it, as opposed to hoping for everything that we're being told.
Yeah. It just comes down to, I don't want to hear what you hope anymore. I want to hear what is possible and what you're doing. And it seems like everything is still in a research and development phase when it comes to meshing and not realistic yet. So when it is, I'm sure I'll be happy. Yeah. But at the moment,
and then every time,
I don't care what you have to say until it is.
So it seems like they've added something. Beginning, it was server meshing of, you know, just the server and
hey, Elf,
meshing together, and then they added the
Elf,
Plutonium.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna sign off then because I'm breaking up.
Yeah, you're completely breaking
See ya.
up.
Have
I can't hear you at all anymore, man. I hope you have a good one too. I'm sorry, buddy. Hopefully we'll have a better connection next time. All right, we'll bring in Vertigo 1. Vertigo, sorry, we got to you pretty quick and because.
Oh no, I was watching the stream, so.
All right, so you saw the whole thing. Okay, yeah, he had a pretty bad connection there today. So, what are your thoughts? We could start with whatever you want. Meshing 3.15. How you feeling about it?
I have stuff kind of jotted down for both, but since meshing doesn't seem to have been covered as much, I think I'll start with that.
Sure.
So I was really surprised at how much detail they went into with answering the server meshing Q&A, and being a developer, I really like to see all that because it kind of gives me some insight into what's going on, especially when I start to see issues in game. But like one of the things that most stuck out to me was them talking about like some of the server bottlenecks that cause things to happen really slowly on the server side, like things spawning in like locations because they have to be done in order. And if that queue gets kind of piled up, then you may quantum travel to like say Port Olisar, which I've actually seen this before. And Port Olisar is not there for like a minute, and then all of a sudden it shows up.
Yeah.
But it essentially, you know, they talk about having all these legacy services that they haven't fixed yet because they know as soon as they get all the, you know, this persistence replication layer and stuff in place, which seems like it's coming early next year, hopefully.
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 Because that's persistence.
You know,
that is this coffee cup tech that Chris has been talking about. That's it. You leave your stuff on the moon, it's going to be there when you get back. That kind of thing. Well, and that resolves a lot of the problems that we experience in the game now to a lot of the bugs that we've been complaining about today, right? If your shit just stayed there and didn't disappear, if your ship just stayed there and didn't disappear, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, and beyond that, you know, like some of the intermediate steps, like right now we have the first form of that 30K recovery, which has been a big improvement. But with what they're talking about with that early replication layer, being able to just wait a little bit, sign into a new spun up instance right where you left off, I think is going to be, even a step beyond that.
Yeah. Somebody in chat said as long as you join the same shard.
Yeah, that's true.
So I still don't quite understand the definition of shard. That's the only thing
I might be able to help a little bit with that.
Yeah, sure. That's like out of all these conversations, that's where I seem to get lost with them. Is shard feels like, okay, I joined an EU server with 50 players on it. That is a shard, or
from my interpretation of everything CIG said, the shard is more an aspect of the data and not so much the servers. So
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, they haven't ever said this, but you could conceive of multiple replication layers connecting to the same shard, but I don't think that's the case based on them talking about the replication layer being built out of microservices. So essentially, like, the shard is kind of, you could think of like a snapshot of everything the universe has, and you can have different snapshots that are contradictory, but there's like chunks of data that can be moved between shards that are associated with the player. So that would be like the stuff in your stowed inventory, your stowed ships, and things that are associated with your player. And they talk about the server even automatically stowing stuff, like if you bed log out and your ship isn't anywhere near anybody, the server may stow it for you. And then when you log in, say you log in on a different shard, then that's those stowed data objects or whatever get put onto whatever shard you're logging into.
Yeah. So if I get a 30K, I should still theoretically be like, all right, I 30K'd. When I log back in, I should be back where I was.
If you're on the same shard, and the thing is it depends on how they implement all this. They could implement the recovery in such a way where when the shard crashes, it goes through, walks that structure and stows stuff.
Yeah.
So that when people sign in, then wouldn't matter what shard they're in. But there's a lot of like live state, like what mission you've just taken and stuff like that. And if that's not persistent, then you would want to be on the same shard if you wanted to like have all your missions already accepted and like not have to restart stuff.
Yeah, I just that's the part where I'm confused, because as long as you get on the same shard, like how do we do that? Is the part that I still didn't comprehend.
Yeah. So what they talked about is there's a matchmaking system or whatever. It's kind of right now what we see of that is being able to join parties and being able to
right click and join on your friend, something like that.
Join on a friend, right? In the past, they had client crash recovery, and I haven't really seen this work well.
It's non-existent now. I've lost my mind over this thing. It was called GIM, Generic Instance Manager. If you crashed out of a server, it would save your spot for a certain period of time, and you would get a message that came up, and it would join you back into that server, and it wouldn't allow. Now, when you crash, you leave, and the person who's logging into the game immediately takes your spot. It is incredibly frustrating not to have. So I wonder if that stopped working and they went, hey, we have another solution for this, and when we do meshing, so fuck it, we're not going to do it now, kind of thing.
Yeah, I have no idea. I do know that when I have client crashed and joined on a party member, it was just like having client crash recovery. I was right back in the seat.
Yep.
Some of the things are kind of wonky. Like last night, I joined in while I was in the pilot seat doing quantum travel, and because like both machines were in the same room, I could look at what the party member who's in the server was seeing and what I was seeing, and it was pretty weird. But yeah, it at least worked. Like I got to the destination and was able to kind of pick up where I left off.
Yeah, I've had the same experience. If you are in a party, but if you're not, getting back to the same spot is unlikely.
Yeah, I've never had it happen where I tried to join back in and wasn't in a party, and
Yep.
like essentially I just end up in bed somewhere in a hospital gown or something.
Yeah. So think about like being a cargo hauler or a miner in that scenario. Not a great
Yeah.
experience, right? So.
So let's see. I'm trying to think. Like, did you? Let's see. Beyond that, one thing that to kind of flip over to like the 3.15 impression side. Unless did you have more on
No, that's
server
fine.
meshing?
I think we got to the points that I really didn't understand, and I'm still just gonna wait patiently and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean that's the wait
do.
for 3.0 was pretty rough. And I imagine like it was server meshing, it's been pretty rough as well, but at least we've had quarterly patches to kind of give us a little bit of um, freshness to the mess that we're what we have now. But yeah, I really enjoyed or enjoy a lot of the features that they add. But it's again and again a lot of the major pain points are due to things that will not be fixed until like the server frame rate goes up or the player density goes up. Um, because like even like the medical beacons, for example, in 3.15, I will only take those if they're close enough that I'm not going to have like a 10-minute quantum travel or a 5-minute quantum travel to to actually get to the person, because by the time I get to them, they probably have lost patience.
Yep. Yeah,
But
same. And the thing
but
is,
oh, go ahead.
Sometimes you get there and they're not there; they're just invisible.
Oh yeah. I've run it with party gameplay. Oh man, I've run into all sorts of issues with like invisible like party members, and like, or the party member will be interacting with a corpse and they'll see it and I won't, or I'll see it and they won't.
Yep.
Or like just boxes of stuff that people have unequipped will show up, and like as soon as they interact with it and put it back down, it'll appear out of thin air, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what's making that stuff broken, other than hope, like the code that does the replication is going to have to be right, or that stuff is going to be really bad.
And it'll probably have some issues at the start. Like, it is what it is. For me, I can see the potential of 3.15, and it gets me so excited, regardless of the hell I feel like I've been going through the last couple days. It just is like, if we fix this, man, I'm gonna have some fun. And then if we start getting more player density, ooh, am I gonna have some fun? Because killing an actual player and looting them is by far the most rewarding experience in the game for me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter like what profession you're doing. Like having higher player densities is gonna change it. I mean, like with miners, you might have to actually compete over areas or stuff like. For medical gameplay, you'll actually have people to heal, and for the people being healed, you'll actually have someone to come heal you.
Yep.
Like there'll be like I've done player bounties like back pre 3.0 and just kind of gave up on that game loop because I just don't have the patience to chase somebody around Stanton forever.
The only time I take them is when they're in a bunker trying to lower their crime stat.
Oh, I have taken. Enjoyable. Yeah, I have taken one where I was clearing a crime stat I got from a bug, and a friend and I were like in the bunker, and all of a sudden we heard this explosion outside. Our ships blew up, and we're like, oh man. So like, I got the crime pop up saying, do you want to press charges against X? And then I'm like, oh, so now I know who it was. So I actually checked, and they had a bounty out for him. So I took the bounty so that I at least would have some idea of where they were relative to me. And yeah, we ended up like killing them, and then actually like talked in chat, made good friends with them, and ended up playing with them after that and had a good time. So like there's a lot of gameplay opportunities that the less bugs there are, the more players in the same area there are, the more that these things will happen.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. One day, Vertigo.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been playing for. I'm not like one of the original Kickstarter people because I needed something in front of me to actually interact with in order to buy in. And
but you said you played in 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When the persistence universe existed, that was it. So I had a lot of fun with org mates, doing large, and I say large, you're talking about 10 or 15 people, in a dogfight at Security Post Korea. That kind of stuff was really fun.
Yeah.
Xenothreat kind of gave that, but it was mostly, players versus NPCs, not players on players. And, I'd like to see kind of a mix of players and NPCs. And they tried to do that with the what is it, Ninetales Lockdown, but there just wasn't enough people on both sides of the event. And, with player densities being low, I don't see how they can get enough people in one area of the server to actually have, a good PvP with, some objectives. Though maybe Jumptown 2 will give us that. We'll see.
Yeah, those things will happen organically if there's value to items in the game. So if there's things of value that everybody or most people would want, especially when there's people who are not interested in PvPing, and those areas aren't in an armistice zone, it is going to happen, right? The only way to make significant amounts of money back when Jumptown happened was at Jumptown. It was by far the best way to make money, and money sort of mattered because it was really the only thing you can do at the time. Now, if there's these cool items or something and you have to go to these places to get to them, it's going to be sick. I cannot wait for Jumptown 2 now that we can loot players. That's going to be so fun. Because I'm not going to leave a ship there. So I'm just going to get dropped off, eject, whatever I need to do to just hang out there and survive as long as I can and loot as much as I can and then hopefully get taken out,
One feature I've been advocating for after 3.15 is, and they added in part of it, is having some kind of marker to where these lootables end up after a ship explodes or person dies. At least you get a marker back to your body now. I think I can't remember if that's in 3.15.1.
It's in 3.15.1 and it's only 1,500 meters away.
Yeah, that's not great, but so it's better than nothing.
Yeah, if you can't quantum to the location, it is kind of problematic. And I talked to Luke Presley about it a little bit today. And the only thing that I feel like is worth saying, because I mostly was just asking questions, why is this so hard if we are able to get markers that are much further away? He explained that a dead body, since it's not a live player, is streamed out. So you cannot stream in the marker until the body gets streamed back in. But that is not to say that he said basically, I don't think that this is a problem that is not resolvable. It's just it was not enough time kind of thing to resolve it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one thing I would like to see is right now, if you ping or whatever, you can see mineable rocks and stuff like that. You can't see those lootable boxes. You can't see the boxes that drop when a ship explodes.
Yeah, they need to do that.
You can't see player bodies that have items on them.
Yeah.
So being able to see those on the scanner would make looting it would increase how often you could take advantage of looting. So let's see. But in terms of things that one thing that came up earlier in the stream, and I definitely agree with it, is most of my pain that comes from bugs is just lost time.
Yeah.
So last night, I was playing with a family member, and I was trying to we were trying to get my dead body into the back of an Avenger Titan so that we would, because they didn't have a multi-tool, so they couldn't move the corpse, and it was in 0G, so you couldn't drag it.
God.
So we were backing the Avenger Titan up over the body, and as soon as the body collided with the Avenger Titan, they got a crime stat. And we actually cleared the crime stat, and it was negligent homicide. So I mean, how do you kill a dead body? You know what I'm saying? But weird bugs like that only show up when you play the game a lot, and cause lost time, right? Because then we had to go clear the crime stat and everything, which we did. But crime stat from falling through an elevator into an area that is government, no trespassing. I've seen that happen. There's all sorts of weird stuff like that can happen. That it just causes a big loss of time. Like the stuff that you ran into, you lost all those items that you had accumulated doing your hardcore gameplay.
Multiple
that's a big
now.
loss of time.
Yeah.
But again, CIG is seems like they're aware of at least trying to fix the largest pain points, like 30K recovery, I think is one example of that.
And just the developers hanging out in the chat, and they care so much about it.
Yeah.
They're here because they care, and they're watching, and they're going, we gotta, you could tell they want to fix it so bad. It's just a matter of if it can get done or not, and if it's even something that they can fix. Could be a server thing, whatever, right? But
yeah,
who knows?
So yeah,
they care though.
They definitely care.
Yeah.
I think the direction they're taking with what they call systematic gameplay, which is building these different features and systems that kind of interact together in a believable and kind of organic, or just on players just kind of come up with gameplay based on how the features interact. That just asks for game breaking bugs, because if there's a bug in any one of those systems, it could completely break the interaction chain. And so it makes it particularly painful. But on the flip side, there's a lot of potential there. So when everything is working together, you can have game experiences that are just impossible without those systems. So
yeah.
I can give an example. We were mining in a mole, okay, and my 4-year-old son blows up a rock, okay, and it damages the ship or whatever. We're spinning out or whatever. We get the ship stabilized actually because of a bug, because third-person cameras actually negate the G-force effects. So I was able to get out of the mining laser, get up to the pilot seat, slow the ship down, but the ship wasn't working. And I figured out what it was by the MFDs were working in one of the mining lasers, and I looked at the health pool on the components, and the reactor had gotten damaged enough that the ship was derelict. And that was surprising to me, because I know CIG definitely has talked about wanting to go the direction of having, essentially, instead of ships blowing up all the time, ships being disabled, and you then being able to either salvage the ship, or the people who are there on the derelict would then need to somehow get saved or whatever. And the potential there is just so great,
huge.
But this is the first instance I've actually run into of actually having the ship get damaged to the point that it was derelict. But unfortunately, there's no way to repair it, right? I couldn't pull out a repair multi-tool, fix my reactor, limp to the nearest station or anything like that. But
yeah,
I definitely can see the potential.
Sure. But I don't know. I am excited. I'm excited. I just really hope 3.15.1 is it. From what I hear, it's a lot better. And then we have these new ships coming in and all this other stuff, so it should add to it, and it should be a lot more fun. And I may not be, maybe I'm not excited for 3.15. I'm excited for what is beyond 3.15. 3.16 does not have a lot of features added to it, so that gives a lot of opportunity to build upon what we have here and add a little bit more variety and clean up some of the issues and stuff. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's until we get the better server frame rates, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's a good point. It really doesn't matter until we do. But all right, Vertigo, I think we'll probably leave it there.
Okay. Yep.
So,
thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for helping with the server meshing stuff a little bit. It's still something that goes a bit over my head. So I look forward to the day that I don't have to think about it and we just play it.
Exactly.
And it just exists. Right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Yep. See you.
Bye-bye. All right, and our final caller for the day, Archer. Archer, I believe Archer reached out to me and was like, hey, I would really like to come on and answer the call. How do I do it? So we talked in DMs a little bit. And how you doing, Archer?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
What's up?
Pretty good, man.
So, have you played through 15? And if so, what are your impressions?
Yes, it is really good. I like of all the patches that I played, like this is the most game-changing one for me, at least. Like, cause I mean, like, I come in every, I don't know, like, I take breaks from the game. Like, I mostly follow the game. I enjoy watching the game, watching the content creators and watching the game build as new patches come out. But like, this one is just like, it's like changing the way that I play the game, because it's like, I never used my Titan. I got the Titan game package, but I got the Nomad, so I'd always just fly around with the Nomad. But when I was doing bunker missions,
Nomad, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. All right, Archer. Thank you so much.
Why are you hating on the Nomad, dude?
It is, but it is everything. Listen, it might be a cool ship. Everything about the inside of the ship. There's so much wrong with it. Are you ready? I'm going to break it down for you. It's totally off topic, and I don't care. The Nomad is what the Mustang Beta should have been. Number one, that is the worst thing about it. Two, they call it a premium starter ship and how it destroys the Aurora. That is number two, because it is not a starter ship. It is everything that is wrong with Star Citizen. Selling a ship that is twice as much as another ship just because to make money. That is what is wrong with it. I hate everything about it. It drives me insane. It's literally the Mustang Beta.
Dude, I don't optimize for stuff. Like, I don't know. It's a cool ship.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It actually is a cool ship, but that's what I hate about it.
But I mean, I never cared about ship components and stuff before, or even layouts of ships, because after flying the Titan, dude, it flies so much better in atmosphere than the Nomad. I didn't realize how ass the Nomad was in atmosphere. So using
it's
the Titan,
flying crab.
Yes, I mean, it's. I would have never experienced that if it wasn't for, the new bunker missions and looting. Mm-hmm. So it's making me do different things. And, I didn't know what ship, I knew what ship components was, but, I didn't really, I didn't ever change any components out until, I went to a bunker mission, got absolutely screwed by lasers. And I was like, oh, wait, maybe I changed my shield generators and stuff. And so I started learning more about shield generators and about the components, about the sizes and grades, and I'm like it's, I don't know, for me it's really opening to the game.
Sure. How long have you been around for?
I came in. I started playing 2019, so it's maybe 3.7, 3.8.
Oh wow, that stuff's been in the game for a while. You just never did it.
Nah. Well, I liked trading. I'd get in the ship, I think at first I had, my first package was a Mustang, and then I upped it to a cutty, and then I would just trade in the cutty.
Yeah.
And then I would just do that gameplay loop, hang out for like maybe a week in the game, and then be like, all right, that's cool. Like, and then just watch the content creators.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Cause like, yeah, this has been a part of the game for me for a while. And it's actually one of the things that frustrates me. And oh my God, ISC this week, they talked about how they don't want components to mean much. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, we want them to mean more and more and more. They just have to be like tied behind other things and hidden where you have to work for them and make some things more rare or something like that. But I mean, that's the thing for me. But I think we're kind of off topic up from 3.15. So I guess I'll give the floor back to you and what you feel about 3.15 in general.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like it's really for, you know, like for someone who kind of like just pops in and out of the game and, you know, mostly follows. It's honestly it's really like I've been waiting for patches for me to be like, I want to sink more time in this. Like I want to have a more enjoyable experience in this game.
This
and
is the
I don't
one.
just want to like, yeah, this is
that did it
like,
for me.
It's such a solid foundation. Like yes, sir.
So no, go ahead. I was interrupting you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
I mean, like I think this is a really good foundation for me to like really stay around in the game for longer periods of time. It's not fully there, but like, oh, like it's so close. Where like it's so close for me stick it in for longer than, you know, than I generally do.
Yeah, I for the first time I think ever in Star Citizen, ever. I work Friday and Saturday, so the last 2 days I worked really late last night. This is the first patch I've ever been like, I do not want to go to. I would call out of work to keep playing this game. That's the first time I've ever felt that way. Ever. I think it's the combination of the wipe plus the earning of like looting from earning stuff from looting and all that. I just want to keep going, and I want to keep getting more and more and gathering more stuff. So, no.
Yeah, even looting, like even though it's like stuff like the stuff in the loot containers is like
kind of pointless.
You know, it's it's kind of pointless, but it's fun. Like I don't know, I like enjoy doing it. At least for like now, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but like when I wish that they would get reputation rewards in sooner than later.
Yeah.
Because that would be like, I think that would be something in the mid to short term that can be done to really keep player engagement in longer than, like for my type of crowd that kind of comes in and checks in and then checks out.
100%. I don't know what it would look like necessarily. Because I don't understand what they're trying to do with this game anymore. Like, if components and armor and gear, they don't want it to matter as much, and they want our skill to matter more. Like, what are we building rep towards? What rewards would that look like? I was so confused by that statement this week. So I don't know, but for me, I would really want to have badass weapon attachments, badass guns, badass armor that can just tank shots, things like that, tied behind a lot of rep.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm ass at like space, like at fighting.
Me too.
Like, I'm so terrible. I know I could get better, but like it's like, it's like right now it's just. There's too many, barriers in the way for me to really sink some time into it, into like actual, like getting really good at space combat. So it's like, dude, like, I don't know. I don't want it to, like, I want a little bit of like buffer zone between me and like the highly skilled people for, to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I'm confused. Like, two people have come in chat and it's like, who's Archer? So let me stop for a second and explain what this show's about. I think a few people don't get that. Like, most people do podcasts with like other content creators and say, like, Archer, you might stream or something. I don't know. I don't follow too much in the Star Citizen realm. But the thing about this show is anybody's able to call in and say hello and talk about the topic that we're talking about today. So Archer is just like you and just like me and just like anybody else who's a Star Citizen fan and just wants to talk about it. So that's who the people calling in are. And sometimes we have other content creators on the show, but the point of this show is to have people who don't have a voice in the Star Citizen community as big as like myself or anyone else we've had on the show, like Morphologist and Board Gamer and these, you know, big kind of content creators like those guys. This allows you to have a similar voice as they do and have your voice be heard by using whatever platform I have to allow your voice to be heard, because it's hard. You know, you can make a Spectrum post, you can make a Reddit post, and nobody ever hears it. And this opportunity, at least somebody is, you know? So that's the point.
And it's awesome. Thank you, dude. Like, I don't ever get to talk about Star Citizen with anyone, because, like, all my friends who game, they think Star Citizen's a joke or a scam, and
they might be right. We'll find out.
I don't think it's not a scam. Like, I hate it. I hate it when people say that, because it's like, dude, did people never play or ever hear about Starforge? Like, or like of actual scam, like, alpha games that, like, never came to be? And, like,
guys, I triggered them. I triggered it. I got the White Knight to come out. No, it's I just mean in the sense of, like, there are some very scammy vibes about this, about how they go about things, right? The constant ship sales, the delays constantly, and it allows people in the upper part of the management in the companies to always have a paycheck, right? So they don't do a good job of having that aspect of the impression of Star Citizen look very good, right? It always looks kind of skeevy. So that's where like the scam vibes come from. On top of that, any money that you spend on your Star Citizen pledges are actually being spent to develop the game Squadron 42 and not really being spent on the game that you are hoping for it to be spent on. So there's little elements that are like kind of skeevy and not really awesome, but obviously there are people working on this game. Obviously there's progress being made.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not a scam, but they don't do a good job of you going, damn, man, something ain't right about what's going on here. Okay, there's something not right. And that's kind of what I think it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that's, I think, because I mean, like, I think everyone can pretty much agree, like, Star Citizen, like, this game is a game that's never really been, like, given a good faith, like, try at it before. And it's...
I don't necessarily think that's true. I think a lot of people have tried to play it and have a good faith effort at trying.
Oh, no, sorry. I mean as in, like, a game, like someone making a game to this, like, in development wise, making a game to this degree.
Oh, okay, sure, I understand. Continue. I apologize.
No, I like, and it's gonna take so much resources, and I think it's gonna take way more resources and a lot more dev power to get this game to the vision that Chris Roberts wants it to. And yeah, like, I don't really like the ship sales, and because it is play to win to very much a degree, and the marketing that they do for the game at times does make it come off as like it's you're gonna have this this dream experience in Star Citizen right now, and it's like,
yeah. And I think that's where the impressions or the the vibes around Star Citizen come from. It comes from players who were brought into the game by either other content creators making the game look better than it is, or specifically Star Citizen trying to make the game look like something it isn't. And then you go and play and you go, what the fuck is this? And then they go, it's an alpha, didn't you know? You know? And you're like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Dude,
I didn't know.
I heard about Star Citizen when the Kickstarter came off through I think it was like Angry Joe did a video on it way back, and I just tuned out for so many years, and then like I was like, oh wait, Star Citizen, I remember that game. That was like the Kickstarter game, and I checked it out, and I was like, how like they've only like this is all we have so far. And then like I got, as I started to understand the project more, I like, have a more, I guess, a better understanding of like, what it's gonna take to make a game to this scale, and that like it's just gonna take time. I thought it was gonna be, like 4 years, and then like it's like, oh damn, like
yeah. It's going to take a long time. Somebody mentioned the 3.15 trailer. Did you see it? I think the 3.15 trailer was the closest trailer to the actual game experience I've ever seen, and it was the best trailer they ever did, and I loved it. So, like, as far as staying on topic with 3.15 impressions, that was a big, big thing. The only thing that was faked, and it was crazy because all this stuff was actually mentioned in the monthly report, is the doctor talking to you when you wake up. Everything else was basically the experience. So I think that doctor and the people around you, every time you wake up, that might actually happen at some point in the future. But everything else I saw was actual gameplay and not as much of the bullshit cinematic stuff that they do.
It was that doctor made that trailer so much more badass.
Wait, apparently if you're on a good server, the doctor talks to you.
So I'd never seen a doctor in there.
Me neither, but apparently it's a thing. Everybody has the doctor talk to them except for us.
Bro,
dude, we're American. I think we're American, dude.
Hell no, dude.
We're American. Our health insurance is so bad, we don't get the doctor. We're not covered. That's what it is.
I didn't have the gold standard plan for my insurance, man.
It makes perfect sense. They must be European.
I just got the bill, dude. The doctor didn't even give a shit.
Yep. No. I'm not paying that bill.
Yeah.
Screw it. Put it on everyone else. But yeah, so I don't know. But in general, I think I'm pretty excited. And I don't know. I think, Archer, we'll let you kind of final thoughts, because I actually have to go in a little bit here. So,
3.15.
Your last thoughts, 3.15, meshing, whatever. Go for
3.15's amazing. I'm gonna keep playing it. It's a lot of fun.
What are you doing when you play?
I don't know, dude. I come in. I like, I don't really have a role right now. Like I just, I started doing bunker missions.
Yeah.
And then that led to, me learning more about combat. Mm-hmm. And now I want to try a little bit more combat. I don't do mining because I did hand mining once, and I rented the prospector once, but it something bugged out which completely ruined that experience, and I spent all this game money credits in game to rent it, and I was like, I had a bad experience with it, so I'm gonna wait a little while before I try it again.
Yep.
I've been trying once in a while, but.
Nice. I'm mostly doing the bunkers, but I think I don't know. I'm just playing on an account with an Aurora, so it's just there's so much that I have to open up to myself to enjoy the other aspects of the game. I'm like, what ship am I going to buy next? Do I go dogfighting? Do I go mining? Do I go cargo hauling? What do I do? Because the bunker missions actually pay so well that I can afford ships just by doing them.
Yeah, I've been making way more money doing it. Like when I was doing like cargo hauling, it took me like a solid week to get, to where I'm at like now, and after like I don't know, like 3 days of doing just solid bunker missions.
Yeah, I have like 300,000 and I've just been doing bunker missions. And you're like, that's pretty close to buying new ships. It's not that far. So, all right, Archer. I guess we'll let you go because I got to run. It's getting to be lunchtime. And yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad you reached out and tried to get on the show. And I hope to see you on the show again in the future. I really do.
Thanks, man. You're awesome,
No
Salt.
Nah, you're awesome too, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right, bye-bye now. You too. All right, guys. So that'll do it. That is Answer the Call for this week. I'm glad we did one. I was hoping to have Space Tomato on this week, but it just didn't work out as far as schedule came, but we will have him on in a future episode. And yeah, I guess we might be talking IAE on next week's episode. And yeah, thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you soon. If you're watching on Twitch and you did not catch the whole episode, it'll be up on YouTube in a few hours. If you're watching on YouTube and like Archer, you were looking for a way to participate in the show, I need to start doing this at the beginning of each episode because I think what happens is a lot of people don't get to this part because it is really far off the list. And leave a comment down below. I think I might actually invest in the money now and invest in the time possibly to start putting these as podcasts on audio only as well. So leave a comment below. Let me know. Maybe I'll put it in the pinned comment and you can like that comment if you guys want that. I might actually invest in that. We'll see. Because it is kind of a pain in the ass. But yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. See you guys next week. I'm sure we'll talk about IAE